This week on Barbell Shrugged, we are back in beautiful Pittsfield, Vermont to talk with the Joe Sena of the Spartan race. We have the best damn plate of eggs money can buy, and we catch up on all the things that have been going on here in Spartansville.
Barbell Shrugged is brought to you by you. To learn more about how you can support the show, go to barbellshrugged.com and sign up for the newsletter.
That sounds like a story we should hear.
Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Mike Blutzer here with Doug Larson, Chris Moore. Wait.
But do it again.
Sorry.
You forgot my name.
No,
It's going to be...
this is a combo cast, so it's not just Barbell Shrugged. This is also Spartan Up, Joe Sena's
Spartan.
podcast.
Should we go with Spartan Barbell Shrugged or Barbell Spartan?
Barbell
or
Up.
Spartan Shrugged.
Spartan Shrugged.
Spartan the Barbell Shrugged up, assholes.
Spartans don't, just so we're clear, Spartans don't shrug.
There's no shrugging going on. They never not know.
Okay.
They're very confident. Very little shrugging going on when they're asked questions.
When was the last time you were here?
We were here, was it February? He said it was February. I feel it was a little later because I think February would be a lot colder than when we were here.
6-7 months It was cold. It's just we woke up early and started running immediately.
It wasn't that cold. I mean, maybe 40 degrees in the morning, maybe in the 30s.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the winter it should be a lot colder here.
It's cold here, yeah.
There was no snow.
No, then it probably was March.
Yeah.
You guys probably came in March. Yeah. So we worked out. You guys introduced me to what a podcast was.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was. We had a blast, right? We spent like an hour on these mics. And then you left. And then fast forward, you probably posted it. How long after you think we met?
A week or two.
So a week or two later, you posted it, and then I had to travel around the world because I had the book, Spartan Up,
Spartan
right?
Up.
And so we did this tour. We went to Frankfurt. We went to London. We were in Slovakia. We were in Czech. And I'm not joking. I was in Canada. I did like...
I started hearing some of these stories, and I was like, these are jokes.
I am not joking. And some of them, I think Marion was here and with me. And everywhere I went, 1, 2, 3 people came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I know you. You were on that Barbell Shrugged." I'm talking about in Frankfurt, Slovakia, London, anywhere in the world. And so I said, fuck, where? Virgin Islands, right? Virgin Islands. Anywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a guy, and we were in the airport in the Virgin Islands. The guy came up and said, "I saw you," or a woman. So we said, we were together, right? We got to do a podcast. So we called you. I don't know if you remember. We got 4 microphones and a camera. And Marion has been miserable ever since.
She's like, this is a great idea. And then once you start implementing, it's like,
Oh, yeah,
no.
Joe's told us he did 15 episodes today so far.
We did
Jesus, you never go half-ass on anything,
This
Joe.
is maybe 16. And it's a lot of work, man. I don't know how you do it. It is a lot of work. I want to quit every day.
But we don't do 15 a day, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if I did that many, I would quit.
Yeah, it's so much work. And then you start to lose energy. You know, it's hard. It'd be easier to work out, to be honest
Well,
with you.
yeah, the thing about it, too, is you don't want to do a podcast. There's a lot of things you can do where the energy starts dropping and you get tired. I'm sure some people have noticed that there's a couple podcasts where I don't have the energy that I had on the previous podcast or something like that. Because when you start dragging, it's not good anymore.
Right.
You don't want to post that.
No, you got to be pumped. You got to be pumped. So,
Yeah.
and I'm pumped to see you guys. You showed up last night. Did you come in a minivan? You got to brought a lot of people.
We roll in the best, Town and Country, rolling in style, man,
a
luxurious.
lot of people.
People make fun of us sometimes. We'll roll up, and we always opt for the minivan.
There's no question.
It's like, because once you've traveled in a minivan, you don't want to go back.
No, minivan's
So
nice.
comfortable.
It's embarrassing, though. You got to admit, it's a little embarrassing.
No.
We take pride in
Really?
rolling style.
We can rock it. Yeah.
So where'd you come from? You stopped somewhere. You were in PA?
All right. Yeah. So this trip, we tend to stack trips. So we'll fly to one side of the country and then we'll stack like 2 or 3 things together. So this trip, we kicked it off. We went to Manasquan, New Jersey first, hang out with Zach Evanesh.
Oh, you saw Zach. Okay.
Our common friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we went and hung out at his gym one day, and we held a mastermind. So we hold something called a mastermind for people who own gyms and are in the fitness business. So we just kind of get together and help each other develop our businesses further, share ideas, things like that. So we did that for a day. We were invited to Princeton University to speak, and so we each
For some reason, they let us in there.
yeah, we all and we
Was it Penn State or Princeton? Tell
it was
the truth.
Princeton. Yeah.
Actually,
Just
Princeton.
fucking with me.
And then, well, what's funny is we got to podcast with some people, and we got to use the same room that Einstein once taught in.
Wow.
That was a little bit of a mind blow.
Yeah.
We were like,
Yeah.
when we did one podcast and we didn't know it, and then the last podcast they were like, they let us know that was the case. I was like, oh shit.
Wow. And so who'd you interview over there?
We got Carl Powley,
Yep.
Nate Helming, and Dr. Romanoff, the pose running guy. I don't know if
Cool.
you're familiar with
Yeah.
his work.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. Yeah.
Nice. And,
But-
and was that fun?
Oh, that was a blast.
Had a good
Yeah, we
time.
had a blast at Princeton. It was the National Endurance Sports Summit.
Oh, I had heard about that. It landed on the same weekend as our championship. We couldn't make it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you invited us to that, but
Yeah.
we had already committed to the
Yeah.
Princeton deal.
Yeah.
And the Princeton deal was a lot of fun. We all gave talks we hadn't given before.
Yeah.
So we got to develop some new content for ourselves.
Nice.
That's fun for us.
Then you jumped in the minivan and drove to Vermont.
Yeah, then we jumped in an van. Well, it was like, let's go to Vermont. You know, the 6-hour drive, 5 to 6 hours. We normally take longer to get to where we want to go than most.
Just
We
'cause
like
you
to make
guys-
stops and eat, and we enjoy the journey.
What do you guys eat when you stop?
Mostly pancakes.
We try to go
no.
I was gonna say something good. You're like pancakes.
sugary protein bars,
Yeah.
too much caffeine, coffee, energy drinks. You know, the classical stuff.
No. We normally, if it's breakfast, everyone orders around omelets and, black coffee, and we keep it pretty simple.
We came up yesterday,
Paleo-ish.
so we drive up, and Doug and I were talking like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good visit, but, probably our assumption was it would not be as good as the last one. We came up here, we met you for the first time, we got immersed in this community, which is amazing for the first time. We thought, well, initially, that was that first sugar rush. We're discovering something new. We'll come back, it'll be familiar, it'll be great, but not quite as good. Now it's better.
Cool.
We came into that event last night. We thought, oh, is there Joe got a wedding or something going on? Maybe get a free dinner or something we walk in and go, oh, we recognize him, and there's a lot of interesting
I
people
knew there was
here.
an event going on, but I didn't know much about the event because when I can't go to something, I just block it out of my mind.
Sure.
Well, I thought it was gonna be over by the time we got here. I didn't realize it was still gonna be going on when we got here on Monday night. Like we showed up after working out yesterday morning and then driving for 6 hours, and we're in our workout clothes, shorts, and light t-shirts, basically like I'm wearing right now. And then we walk into like a dinner party where everyone's drinking wine and shit, and we were like,
And talking about how they're going to change the
I
world.
didn't know,
Like,
I didn't know
I'm
this was happening.
Yeah, they're like, I'm an author. I wrote this book, and I'm like, I just drove 6 hours in a minivan,
and I
I'm
stink.
breathing through
and,
my mouth.
I smell from my workout.
But to be honest, it was just as awkward for us because we didn't really have room for you. You just showed up. I'm kidding.
No,
He's
that-
like,
well,
you
that-
guys, you weren't even
bums are
invited,
back.
really.
well, supposedly, I think there was like bunks set aside for us, and then when we got here, you're like, oh, you brought your wives. The bunk situation is not going to work.
Where'd we put you? Are you in
Oh,
Trailside?
the Trailside
Trailside
Inn, love that place.
You're with Josh. Good.
I'm really happy about that because the first time we came up here, I was like, my wife needs to come up here with me next time I come up. And because we stacked the trips and she came with us this time, but I don't think deeply about much of anything. But
That's your problem.
but we got up here, I was like, oh, we get to stay in the Trailside Inn. I was like, this is where I wanted to bring you. So, it just happened to happen.
Let's dive. Wait, what do you got?
I was gonna dive into something real.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna
'Cause
say
I-
you guys did the Spartan World Championships here this weekend.
We
and
did, but before we get into that, here's where I was thinking.
Okay.
If you're okay with it.
Yeah,
It
sir.
is, so we have the Trailside, right? We've got the general store we're sitting in. We got Amy Farm, and the idea was, could we build all these businesses, these buildings, and then find some people to run them?
Mhm.
I don't know if we talked about this last time,
we
but
talked about how it was all an emerging little economy that it wasn't clear how it would all turn out, but we knew there was a good chance this would really, really work out.
You were going to be the black sheep
I
mayor
was, no,
of
I
town.
was, I was the
Yeah.
black sheep, and I'm just getting my green juice here. It didn't really work, and the reason it didn't work was because it was an experiment. Like I thought, think about your podcast business. You probably had no funding when you started. You were in that coffee shop, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you did a few, and then you could buy some equipment, and it just kept growing. I started my first business that way, and what I figured was if somebody had backed me and bought me some good trucks in the beginning, and I could hire some good labor, I would have got there a lot faster. Same probably with you, no?
Actually, I think I would have just had more expensive lessons to learn.
Well, you got
Yeah.
you're smarter than I am. Well, you went to Princeton.
No.
You can technically
You
say
drove
that.
through campus one time.
Yes, I went to Princeton. Yes.
So my thing was, I thought people would be able to just walk into this general store, which was already set up with inventory, and run it. I thought somebody could just walk into Trailside and run it. Somebody would walk into the Amy Farm and run it. Every one of the businesses failed. And I think the reason they failed was exactly what you said. I think if you don't have skin in the game and you're not an operator that like has a mortgage and you put up money and you don't have a choice, you got to make it work. You had to make this podcast work, right? If it didn't work, what were you guys going to do? So we got really lucky this year after you were here last time, I think. I don't think Josh was here last time you were here. What?
He was here.
Oh, he was. So Josh
He was new, I think.
He probably just showed up. He wrote a check.
It was all brand new,
He wrote a check. He came in. He felt
so before he got here, that had failed.
Failed. Like people, the phone would ring. Nobody answered the phone. People would show up. There's nobody behind the door when they got there. I couldn't get employees.
Slackers.
Oh man, it was terrible. So he shows
Crack
up.
that whip.
Well, but you got to manage them, and it's just a headache, right? So he shows up. He writes a check. We don't have to worry about anything anymore. His money's on the line.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's going to be friendly to you because he wants to make money.
Is that why he's being friendly
to me? That's why he's being friendly to you.
That's the only reason.
I thought he liked me.
Has nothing to do with you.
We say the same thing about people when it comes. If you want to get in shape, what we say is the same thing. People get free help or look for it or get shortcuts. They go to the gym because their buddy got them a deal. They never get results.
Doesn't work.
You got to pay and you got to put a chunk of you on the line. Then you get an extraordinary outcome.
I got this saying. I don't know. I think it's true. Adversity is the road to success, right? So Josh has got to feel some adversity, some pain. Write that check, right? Be stressed out, just barely on the bubble, whether he's making money or not.
Right.
And he's making that place work, and that's why you're excited about it. And same thing with the farm. When you met Joe today, when you met him last time too, right?
He's an amazing guy.
We had 4 sets of farmers there before Joe. And I might have told you this last time you were here. We had the only farm where the animals ate brunch instead of breakfast because no one would wake up early enough. No one would get up early enough to feed the fucking animals.
There's a reason why every can have brunch on Sunday, but every other day of the week.
There's a reason like every farmer in the world gets his ass up at the crack of dawn.
Yeah,
right?
like
that's the nature of the game.
Our cows would be saying, "What kind of fucking farm is this, man?"
I've been on a lot of farms. This is not.
It's 6 a.m. It's time to eat. So that I wanted to go down that road on business. So we're fixing that. We got Katie and Kevin now in the general store. Did you met them? They cooked for you last night.
Oh, they're amazing.
This place is ridiculously good.
The food here is incredible.
So Kevin,
I would say this is my favorite place to eat breakfast in the whole world.
I call it the capital THE general store.
We can deliver.
I ate 2 breakfasts this morning and additional eggs.
Did you really?
Crushed it all.
Well, you did.
So
You did the
good.
burpees. But Katie and Kevin,
300 burpees this morning.
He was doing $14 million a year down in New York in a restaurant. He was a top chef.
Yeah.
When we went down to Richard Branson's island, they knew him. So
Wow.
So he says to me, he had done the death race, right? He was in that community, and we were just up to our neck with frustration, like we needed people to run these businesses. And Kevin raises his hand with Katie and says, "I'm in. We're gonna." And I'm like, "You're doing $14 million in New York. You're gonna come up here and do $14? It's not right? Nope. It's our dream. We want to live in Vermont." So they're here now, probably 6 or 7 months, and they are killing it. Literally, I lost money in this place. I took it over in 2005. 9 years I've lost money. They've been here 5 months. They're making money.
Wow, it's the mindset, right? A guy who's want to give up $14 million a year to take on a new challenge because he knows he can do it again. That's the fucking guy you want on your team, right?
Well, if you can be successful in Manhattan running anything, you probably can be successful anywhere, right?
I don't know about that. I would argue if you could be successful in Vermont, you could be successful anywhere, right? I was thinking Frank Sinatra should have sung Vermont, not New York, New York. Right? You could be successful here. It's tough here. I mean, 400 people in
There's
town.
just not a lot of people to do business with.
Not a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the World Championships.
Yeah, that's not the death race. That's something different. Is that right?
So basically, for Spartan race, you've got the sprint, 3+ miles. You've got the super, 8+ miles, and then you've got the beast, 13+, like a half marathon. So
all with obstacles. This is Spartan racing.
Spartan
You're the
race.
founder for people that don't know you.
Yep, I'm the founder of Spartan Race. We started 2010 in here in Pittsfield. So anybody that was feeling bad for me, in the story I was just talking about with all these businesses not working,
Nobody's feeling bad for you.
nobody was feeling bad.
No.
The good
Not
news,
now.
the good news is Spartan Race, probably did better because I was hurting everywhere else here in Vermont, right? So there's
the
something.
same thing was applying to you. You had to make that work.
I had to make it work. So anyway, you got these 3 different distances, and the reason we did that is we wanted to emulate triathlon. So triathlon's got distances as well, and you can work your way up to an Ironman. we think we're going to have an Olympic distance Spartan race. We tested it this weekend.
Oh man!
And it won't be bigger. It'll just be faster, and we think we're going to get it in the Olympics. That's our goal. We're gonna work to get it in the Olympics.
People would love to watch that.
We
With
would love to
cameras
watch
along the
it.
course, like they do with the cycling and stuff. You can see the cameras.
Yeah,
on the course.
no, it's going to be insane. And apparently Boston put in a bid to get the Olympics there in 2024.
Oh, cool.
And would be awesome because our headquarters is in Boston. So imagine if in 2024 this could be the new sport.
Let's make it happen, Joe. What we got to do?
I want to knock ping pong out or something like that.
No way you're knocking out ping pong. There's a ping pong table in every break room in the United States and around the world. You can't get rid of ping pong.
What about
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, what do we got to do to get this shit done? I'm like, I don't care about odds. Let's do it. Let's
What
make it
about
happen. I got the Joe.
Curling? Could we get curling
Let's
out?
get it out there. Fuck them.
I think I could do without the curling.
I was talking to a guy today. What is that sport with you spin the friggin' fabric around in circles on a stick?
The prancing in gymnastics, the floor routines.
It's got like a stick with a
They do
fabric on it.
like Will Ferrell did it in that movie.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've known.
It's
that
in the
for.
Olympics. It's in the Olympics.
Can you believe they try to kick
gymnastics?
as wrestling?
The ribbon dancer,
Wrestling back
the ribbon
in.
dancer at home is going.
Oh,
They try to kick
F you
wrestling
guys.
out.
Taking wrestling out is ridiculous. That's like how
What
the Olympics
in the
fucking started.
Shit? What in
You're like,
the
no more
shit
track and
are
field.
people thinking? We got to keep the horse dancing and shit in here. We got to get the wrestling out.
The problem, first of all, the problem with wrestling was the outfit.
The banana
the
huggers.
singlet is a little weird. You got to admit, the singlet's a little weird.
So was that the argument they were making?
No,
but it's not big. It's not. It doesn't get big TV ratings like
It's not
MMA.
spectator
Like,
friendly.
if you gave guys a T-shirt, a tight T-shirt, I know it's maybe harder to wrestle with that, but I think you'd have a better chance of getting better ratings.
Yeah,
Really?
MMA at least
I
they
think the
have
singlet.
shorts on and no shirt, and that's not weird compared to like a all spandex outfit.
I think
Yeah.
I've been
Wrestling.
wearing singlets
Wrestlers
too
don't give
long to realize that it is weird.
Right,
Well, Joe
wrestlers
thinks you
don't
look weird
care.
in your singlet.
They're weird.
I'm going to show you some pictures of me in my singlet.
So this morning, I'm gonna
Careful.
Not weird at all.
I'm going to tell you, I'm embarrassed about this. This morning, thanks to you, with your podcast, we were doing a podcast with Ben Greenfield. You know Ben Greenfield?
Yeah.
Oh, we know Ben.
He came on the show.
All right. So
I
I'm
got
doing
a funny story about Ben.
I got a funnier story.
I hope
Contest.
so.
So I'm with Ben this morning, and I've got another podcast lined up, so I can't do Ben. So Ben had already dived into our pool, and it's like 35 degrees
Yeah.
this morning, and he's sitting in the pool, and he's freezing, right? And so I'm doing Ian Adamson. He's a world-class athlete. He holds all kinds of world records. We're talking to Ian. Ian's done. Ben is now purple because he's been sitting in the pool waiting to do this podcast. And we take him out of the pool, and I said, why don't we fake, like a recovery, like we're going to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. So I go to put my hand to block my lips from hitting. My lips land right on his fucking lips. We were both so pissed.
Hey, I'm gonna revive you right now.
Sorry,
You ready?
bro.
So what happened? How did you miss?
It was terrible. I closed my eyes because it was so weird to begin with, and they just landed on his lips. It was terrible.
I'm gonna make you.
This is on camera?
This was on camera. It was
Oh,
terrible.
you have it? Oh, man.
Oh, we gotta edit that in.
terrible.
We do.
I'll make you feel better. Doug and I actually kissed accidentally.
How did that happen?
Wait. See, when he said my lips land on his lips, but you didn't say you kissed him. You said we kissed. And that's not the same thing.
I looked into Doug's eyes and we knew we
Okay,
would give
okay,
this
okay.
love a
Yeah.
try.
Give
it a chance,
our
Mike.
lips touched accidentally.
Yeah,
once.
see?
No,
That's what he
were
said.
you on a microphone? Is that how it happened? Or how?
No, we
No.
were doing jujitsu.
Right.
Right.
He's like, he was feeding me spaghetti. I got the other end of spaghetti in my mouth. We were right in the middle. It was awkward.
No, like I'm laying on my back. I don't remember who was where, but like I'm laying on my back and he's in side control on top or something like that. And someone was talking to him over there, and someone was talking to me over here, like both giving
Like coaching?
each one of us coaching advice. And so I'm looking this way, and he's looking that way, and then we both said okay, and then we both turned at the same time, and we just like bumped into each other, and then went.
We made eye contact for one moment and was like, oh no.
We kind of looked around, was like, did anybody see that? And he's like, I don't think so. I was like, let's keep that shit to
I think your
ourselves.
ex-girlfriend may have seen it. Oh,
Later that
I
night,
don't
where you're
remember.
like, hey, so
Don't
about what
remind her.
happened earlier. What happened earlier? You're right, nothing happened earlier. Nothing at all happened earlier.
Isn't that, it's aggravating. It's forever. you can't get rid of it.
Can't
Like,
take it back now. Yeah, now that it's public,
it's in my
definitely
head.
forever.
I mean, it's on. Yours is on camera.
Mine's on camera, and I'm thinking, does Ben think I did it on purpose? Like, I don't want to kiss the guy.
I mean, he's not a bad-looking dude. I mean, if you're gonna touch your lips with another dude's lips.
Ben's a good candidate.
You know, there's definitely worse dudes to do that with.
You know what you did? You made the tough decision. Say, well, I got to kiss the guy. It's a tough decision. You always take the hard path.
Takes the hard road
Yeah,
whenever
nuts.
possible.
Let's go back to eating. You guys are on the road. You're eating pancakes. You're eating all this stuff.
No, this is just Michael eating shit.
I was joking.
Kind of.
I mean, I ate pancakes. Like,
You ate, well, the
Like-
pancakes here are dope, you know.
once every once in a while, I eat pancakes. But, yeah, 9 times out of 10, I don't.
What do you think about this idea of, I don't know, do you want to talk about the guy you just interviewed, or does that screw you up based on when you post it?
No, we,
it'll
can,
be
we,
fine.
we can talk about anybody.
So Dr. Bishi,
Yeah.
Freddie.
This is an
That
amazing
dude's
man.
awesome.
So Freddie,
We should bring him up as much as possible.
all right, so Freddie Bishi, he's 85 years old, right? Raw fruits and veggies for 50 years, was a weightlifter, so you guys could talk to that.
Mm-hmm.
He, I met him just before my wedding, so we're 2014, so like 2000, and I decided I'm going raw fruits and veggies. And so I did it straight for 6 months. And I got to say, I had the best endurance performances at races than I've ever had in my life. I went across Alaska on raw fruits and vegetables. I had olive oil with me. I was drinking olive oil.
Yeah.
I was eating peanut butter, and I had carrots, and it was incredible. I did it in Canada. Same thing, 7-8 days on raw fruits and veggies. Problem was when you're out there in the snow, you don't have a choice. There's no restaurants along the way. There's no
Exactly,
food, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm home and you walk into a place, it's hard not to.
You got the general store in your backyard.
Yeah, it's hard not to just eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys think about what he's saying?
I think there's some validity there. I think, I think it's not for everybody. I think some people actually really do well with like a vegan diet or a raw vegan diet or something like that, and that's kind of what he described to us. And there's like an MMA fighter that does really well on that, but then there's other people. I know guys that have gone, raw vegan, lots of juicing for like 60 days, and then they feel good like the first 60 days, and then they like start trailing off. And then what if they add in like healthy meats, like grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, things like that. Once they start introducing that, they start feeling better. So I think it varies from person to person. I think some people do really well on that. I think it has to do with probably,
Genetics.
like, your family lineage, like, maybe
Right.
at some point.
And your training goal, obviously. You got
If
you got to
you're-
tinker around to see if it's going to work for you.
Yeah, if you're trying to be in a certain weight class, then it might be tough.
But
But I think anything is worth trying for yourself. Everyone should be treating themselves as their own case study all the time. Seeing if they look, feel, and perform better. If you look, feel, and perform better when you do something, keep doing it. If you try it out and one of those things start, falling, maybe you should ditch it.
To that
know.
point,
Certainly no one's going to
Yeah.
argue that raw fruits and vegetables are bad for you in any kind of way. And I imagine that goes for nuts, and you said olive oil too, even if it's somewhat processed, like olive oil's processed technically. It's made from olives into an oil, and there's a refining process there. But just because it's not cooked, it counts. So does like sashimi count in that category for you?
No. Well,
Or just fruits and vegetables?
Here's the problem. He said to me, I didn't realize, when I did it 10, 11 years ago, he said, Joe, you went right to the red line. Like, that's the most extreme diet you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, he believes it's the right diet. But he said, it's not practical. You're not going to be able to stick to it. It requires tons of work that he was willing to do, I couldn't do, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, you're better off just cut out all processed food. Eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
Eat some things. Eat some cooked things. Just cut out everything processed. So I just had him in my kitchen. And we went through the cupboards and everything. My wife wasn't home because she would have never allowed this. We threw everything out.
Yeah.
We threw everything out. He went through. He said, no good. This is good. This is not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I do, I'm a big fan of like elimination diets, where you toss out anything that could potentially cause, negative effects. So basically, you're only keeping like grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, and then organic veggies and stuff like that. And even then, some veggies you're not playing around with. You're not eating beans. You're not eating a lot of nuts. There's a lot of things, anything that could potentially cause any problems in any person at all. You avoid that for like 30 days. You get nice and clean. Go through what he might refer to as like a detox or something like that.
Sure.
Hit that 30 days and then add one thing in every 3 days. So it's like, okay, the thing that you're craving the most, you're like, man, I haven't had caffeine, I haven't had coffee, and I crave that. You start back with that. You just kind of add the things, but for that entire 3 days, you're going to feel really good at day 30 no matter what. And you start adding things in, and you figure out exactly what is bothering you. You could take that to the extreme and say, hey, I'm going to go raw vegan, I'm going to juice only, or some of the things that he was suggesting, which was just water for like 30 days. And then you could go extreme elimination diet that way, add one thing in, see how that makes you feel. So
it's just so hard to do. I mean, that's socially, right? That's the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Some of his points
You
he
have other
made-
options around you all the time. It's hard not to eat them.
I think that's the biggest reason why people don't eat healthy, period, is just because social pressures, things are in their house. If it's around, you're going to eat it. If there's Oreos in my house, I'm going to dip those jokers in some milk and put them down.
Yeah, you will. The thing that
But,
stuck out.
just don't have it around. And, if I go out and hang out with the guys, if I go to like a business meeting, I'm drinking scotch. I'm going to have an IPA, whatever,
Do you on that note, do you think we should just, as a government, I know you keep trying to jump
No,
in
I was going to
here.
make a point just because it was time, because I
Yeah,
was commenting on his strength. Dr. Was it Beachy?
Oh,
I don't want to mispronounce it.
Yeah, Beachy.
I was just going to say, before the moment passes, that a lot of things he said, a couple years ago, I would have laughed at some of this stuff, because I got to be strong, I got to eat, I got to be a certain weight, I got to lift what I need to lift. This last year, I've experimented, not really experimented, but I found myself not wanting to eat as much, to spend mornings just relaxing, spend time with family, easing into the day, not quite as extreme, easing, but eating a lot less than I would have a while ago, and training in a smarter way, in a better strategy, a little more of a sustainable way. And what I'm finding is echoing his experience, where I'm getting, in some lifts, and a lot of lifts, I'm getting stronger than I ever was, and I'm eating sometimes not until like noon, and then eating much lighter.
I will tell you, I don't know if you believe in this because I've seen you eat.
The CTP almost fucking ate it. Dude.
I have done marathons and long runs on almost no food.
Yeah.
And the less I ate the night before, none of this pasta loading stuff, the better I did.
Yeah, I'm not real big on loading up right before you race or anything like that. I think the energy is already stored in your body that you're going to have. I mean, you don't want to go do like a ton of exercise the day before a marathon and not replenish those nutrients, but yeah.
No, because the body burns an enormous amount of calories processing food. So why would you want to burn all that energy, right, processing food before an event?
And you also have the bowel movements.
You got the bowel movement.
You don't want to like have to be taking shits every few hours if you're on a really long endurance deal. You were gonna ask me something about. I think the government should do something.
Oh, you think the government should mandate like what we could eat and what we can't eat? Like, I think we should just cut scotch out, and that would solve your problem.
It would solve a few problems for me. I think my wife likes the scotch being around. She's like, honey. End of the day, he's like, you need help. This is one of those days. Go have a scotch. But no, I think it's a really bad idea, because there was also a day that the government believed so much that grains were good for you that they subsidized corn.
Yeah.
So, and now we all know that that's like the worst decision ever. And so, I don't think those clowns know what's good for us.
But we know soda. We know soda's not good. Let's just cut
but they
soda.
also say red meat's not good for us. But if I eat a nice grass-fed piece of ribeye, it's got a lot of health benefits.
All right, can we agree on the soda?
So, I agree it's not good for us, but I don't think it should be mandated, no.
But we're not smart enough to, I mean, the government's not smart, but we're not smart enough to make those decisions. I mean, drinking 16-ounce sodas, like...
What you got to ask yourself is, why does soda exist as it does today?
Why?
Joe,
Why?
go down
You
this
tell
rabbit
me.
hole with him.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Here comes conspiracies.
No, well, it is a conspiracy to a degree, but it's not planned, so maybe it's not. But we have high fructose corn syrup that's readily available, right? And the only reason it's readily available is because we subsidize the corn industry. It is more expensive, or it was at one time more expensive to produce it, and it probably is now because we subsidize it. Who knows what the actual cost of anything is these days? But it's more expensive to create it with sugar. And so if we were creating drinks off of just natural sugar, and high fructose corn syrup would have never been invented had we not subsidized that corn in the first place, because we had an abundance of corn and we didn't know what to do with it. So scientists came in and said, hey, we got to come up with things to do with this corn, some extra food. So they process it to 19 different ways to get it down to some high fructose corn syrup. So now we have really cheap soda. We have a lot of cheap things, a lot of cheap foods because of the subsidy.
You think cane sugar would have been so much more expensive, it might have changed the game?
So if we were doing it only with cane sugar, we wouldn't have the volume necessary. It wouldn't be cheap enough.
It'd be a treat.
The problem is bottled water is more expensive than soda, and we know that. But the only reason that can happen is, we can sell water more expensive because people who are conscious of that will spend the extra money, and I think that's totally okay. But it's not that the water's that cheap; it's that the soda is that artificially cheap. and it's an artificial thing, and that's a government-created problem. So to say, okay, let's take tax dollars and
subsidize soda
and make soda cheap, and then turn around and tax it, seems really retarded to me. Like basically, you're just stealing more money. So you take money from the citizens, and then you take it from them again. Yeah. And so like now you got them double. Yeah. And so now the politicians are basically bending us over.
So then you agree with me? Just cut soda out entirely.
If they just cut out the corn subsidies, things would be a lot different. People's plates would look a lot different.
So nobody thinks that soda is healthy in any kind of way. That's not a debatable point, really. What do you think the answer is?
I mean, if it was me, I'm going to sound like a nutcase here, but I would have everybody wake up at 5 a.m. I'd have like a siren that goes off nationally. Everybody be in bed by 8. We'd get rid of alcohol, and we'd be on like celery water and maybe some grass-fed beef for you.
The healthy 1984.
It'd be unbelievable. It'd be unbelievable. Everybody'd be working hard. You'd have to sweat every day. There'd be 1 year like mandatory military like Israel. It'd be, but I'm a little extreme.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people want that type of society when there's like a goal for the society. But like, again, who's directing that? And are they smart enough to direct that? And I think a lot of innovation comes from people who wake up at 10 a.m., smoke a bowl, and then
make art.
And then go on about their day being creative. And so I think there's a balance. There's definitely needs to be people like yourself, and there needs to be people probably out on the West Coast doing such things. I'm a big fan of both. I like hanging out with both crowds. I'm a big fan of it. So I'm here hanging out with you. I work out at 5:30 a.m., but a month ago you would have found me at Burning Man. So
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah. Did you meet Skywalker, by the way?
I did.
He's great.
I met him in the Reno airport.
Oh, he told me that.
Then I ran over to him last night, and I was like, dude, I fucking met you like a week ago in Reno.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He's a cool-ass dude.
Yeah. So, and you guys didn't see him at Burning Man. You saw him in the airport coming out of Burning Man.
I know his camp.
Yeah.
The camp that he has on 2 o'clock in Esplanade.
The dinosaurs or dragons or whatever.
Yeah, he has a big like concert camp, like a music camp.
Yeah, he's big on music. Did you hear that girl singing last night?
She's amazing.
Yeah. Was she great?
Stunningly amazing, yeah.
You go to Burning Man?
I never went. No.
Oh, okay.
You want to take Joe next year?
Yeah, take me.
You fucking told us you come.
Dude, let's do it. Bring it on.
I'm in next time.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, if he comes back, you know what? Let's everybody relax a little bit. Slow down. Take some time to smell the roses. What the hell happened to Joe? You broke Joe!
Listen to me. How many people are there? Could we have everybody?
68,000.
Could we have everybody doing burpees? Could I start?
You could probably have a burpee camp.
Here's the thing. Burning Man, you can make it anything you want it to be, and everything is there. Like there are things that you couldn't dream up. There's a real life Thunderdome there. Like you can climb on top of this cage and watch people go at it.
There you go, Joe.
Like they have like bungee cords to people, and they would like launch people into each other, and they had like foam like weapons and stuff. But it was
they were beating the shit out of each other.
You could climb up on top. They were being aggressive, and you could climb up on top of this thing and just like kill them.
It's like an exploration of the human condition, really. Anything that matters, art, these drug experiences, physical combat, out in the desert in a supreme, stimulus-free environment where you got to carry everything in and then carry everything out and do not damage the environment. I think it's a very balanced experience.
It's a leave no trace type of thing too. It's so cool because everything was set up in a single weekend, and it's like amazing. It's like, how did these people do it in a single weekend? I mean, these people are it's as Spartan as you get, really.
Yeah. Lived
in the desert for the week. Brought everything with you that you're going to have, and then a week later you clean it up to where you couldn't even tell anybody was there. And it has some of the most amazing art you've ever seen.
Does it look that clean?
Yeah.
Spotless?
Yeah.
Like they got every wrapper, everything?
Yeah, especially our camp. Our camp is like, we're picking up we had carpets there and stuff, and there was just a tiny piece of carpet on the ground. We picked it up.
Nice.
Like every single bit. Like you wouldn't tell. I mean, you might be able to tell due to like some tire tracks in the dirt, but in a week those will be gone.
And what's temperatures like?
It was not that bad. It's the end of August. Yeah, so like during the day maybe 90s.
Yeah,
but that would be
on
high.
The super high end. It was like in the 80s.
Yeah, and
high 70s.
And at night it would get down to like 60, and it was just like it was cool enough at night that you could sleep and be comfortable, and it wasn't so hot that it was just like blowing you out during the day. So it was nice and even. I felt like.
Are they running generators? Everybody's running generators.
Not everybody.
Yeah. Some people are doing tents. Some people do generators. I mean,
you can run there from here, Joe. Make a challenge for you.
There are concerts in the desert, so yeah, there's a lot of energy
being consumed.
Yeah, being consumed.
Hey, side question here. Somebody, Tony the Fridge, actually, you're going to talk to at some point. The guy that runs with the refrigerator on his back. He said whenever you come into town with the Spartan race, why don't you have one of those Batman lights, giant lights, and so that everybody in town knows 2 days before at night that's big Spartan logo.
Dude, that's legit. That's a great idea.
Do they work? Have you seen those things?
not like in the Batman movies.
Are you asking me because I'm actually Batman?
Exactly. That's what I heard. So I just,
when you're
the
called,
bearded Batman.
Well, yeah, I guess
I actually have to wear a bald mask on my face, and then I put the cowl on.
Well, I guess you would need a cloudy night, right? To make
that's what I was going to ask. Have you ever seen one of those giant? Did they use them in Burning Man? Have you seen anything like that?
They had laser shows.
Yeah,
that
use
were pretty
lasers.
crazy. Yeah, you could
green lasers.
You could, yeah.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool.
You could create something with light.
You might be able to somehow shine it, like Batman style, like onto the side of the mountain.
They had these lasers that were like so dense, like it wasn't one of those things where, like, yeah, I can kind of see that light. It's like so dense from mountain to mountain. You're like in a valley, and it's like it's pretty crazy.
I'm gonna go with you next year. I'm in.
Yes.
So let's talk about 431, right? Because
let's take a break real quick. When we're talking about why we actually showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Welcome back to Technique Wad. I am not Doug. No, hey. It's your buddy Chris here from the Barbell Shrugged podcast, and what I want to talk to you about today is everything you need to know about the barbell row, which for some reason, Alex, not many CrossFitters do. Why is that, man? Do you know of any strong people who don't do a lot of rowing?
Not at all.
Like in bodybuilding and strongman and weightlifting and powerlifting, and it should be in CrossFit. If you want a strong back and you want to do a better job of pulling from the ground and be in better position, you got to be rowing all the time. So we're going to tell you everything you need to know about the row, varieties, how to program it, everything. So let's get started. What do you want to do first? Heavy barbell rows?
Barbell row.
Isn't that what a bro would do, is start with heavy rows like Ronnie Coleman? Lightweight, baby. Let's do it. Yeah, so the best row iteration you're going to be able to do is a barbell row. I'll show you a couple of ways you can do it, depending on whether you want to improve or use the row as an assistance exercise for your deadlift to help you pull better in that style, or in Olympic weightlifting. So I'll demo the powerlifting stuff just for the sake of accuracy, because I'm a fat powerlifter. He's a trained weightlifter, so I'll have him show you how to do rows and more of a proper mechanics if you want to train better pulling position. So first things first, what we're not going to do, because like just because you're doing rows doesn't mean you're doing rows, right? So what I don't want this at is where you pick the bar up and you sort of Ronnie Coleman the row. Like this might look cool if you can do 4 plates like this, but this is not really accomplishing much anything. It's rowing, but it's not going to carry over to deadlifts and pulls. We want this to transfer. The key to any good gym, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but assistance exercise is worthless if it doesn't help you do better on snatch, clean and jerk, deadlift, squat, press, right? So we want this to transfer. So we're going to work on getting force through our feet and rowing with something close to our deadlift or our clean mechanics. So if I want to use a heavy row to help me deadlift better, first things first, I'm going to approach it just like I'm going to deadlift. So for me, when I deadlift, I like my feet pretty close, because this is basically where I would jump from. It's my most powerful position. And I want to deliver as much force to the ground as possible right at the instant I grab the barbell. So all I'm going to do is reach down and create as much tension through my body as possible and load to the center of my feet and grab the bar and create tension. And Alex's version will be the same. But what's different between these two rows is I'm going to really drive explosively and powerfully with my legs to get the weight going, and I'm just going to finish with my arms. So the whole time I'm basically pretending deadlift. The only difference is instead of finishing with my hips, I'm going to hold my back over the bar, I'm just going to pull straight up. So for me, that would look like this. I approach, I get tension through my legs, I arch my back, I take a belly in, or a breath into my belly, get tension, I sit back and down and try to stay right over the bar. I would grab it where I would pull in the deadlift. If I want to use a hook grip, I'll use a hook grip. If I want to train my grip, I'll release that hook grip, put it right where I want it, and I'll drive really quick off the ground and then just pull straight up right into my stomach. And I would control it down. And the way I like to do it is put the bar back down, and that's 1 rep. So I would drive, row, drive, row. I can drive up and just let it back down controlled. I can drive it up and hold it.
if I want to add a little bit more variation and do it more in the standard way, I don't have to put it back down each time. I can just pick it up, and instead of going all the way down, return it to just underneath and pull back up. That's one way, eh? Right, so if you want the row to transfer a little bit better to clean, or maybe even snatch, you can do these with a little bit wider grip. What you want to do is pull a little bit more specific to those style of pulls. So Alex is going to demonstrate. So you're going to set up just like you're going to clean, right? Same grip, same stance, same little idiosyncratic little tendencies and everything. But what he's going to do is just more thoughtfully get the knees out of the way. So it's not so much of an aggressive drive through the ground because you don't do that. You do that on a deadlift because that helps, but sort of flip-flop in the clean. So he's going to scoop out of the way, and then he's just going to bring the bar right up, stay nice and over the bar. So the first thing that comes to mind is, if you're somebody who rushes into your second pull position, this will get you comfortable staying way over for longer. I mean, you got to get comfortable hanging out over the bar for a long time before you engage it. If you're weak or a novice or whatever in these lifts, the first thing you're going to do is get so impatient you're going to get in that position a little bit too soon, then you're basically not going to be in a very effective position to jump with a barbell out there. So again, to get better at deadlifting, aggressively drive, get it moving and finish, and to help your clean, be a little more thoughtful. Scoop out of the way, bring it up. Little differences like you can also curl your wrists under so that you can start training yourself to engage the bar and keep it back. So as you row up and bring it in, you're practicing those same subtle habits that help you be in better position when you go to clean. Good so far? Another tip that we need to, yes, Michael?
Can I have just one more tip?
Yeah, one more tip about the difference, the variations and how you pull. For me, being a powerlifter, when I grab this barbell, I'm just gonna grab it, and my wrist is pretty much be hanging straight down. I'm trying to pull with very loose, very straight, ropey arms. So I'll just pull straight up, boom, and down. It's pretty simple. If I were Alex, he could probably show this better than me. Again, a good cue is probably you can use your hook. You don't have to, but it's a good idea. Curl the bar under. Right when I do this, I can put tension on the bar, and I feel my lats engage. If you don't know how to engage your lats when you pull, I mean, Alex, it's a world of difference. If you don't engage your lats, their engagement with the barbell is a lot differently. Grab just like you would for clean, curl under, and keep that curled under position as you draw the bar up. You're getting better and better at holding that when you go to clean. The thing about the barbell row, we gotta point out the areas where you could screw up badly, because this happens all the time. I'd say there's a lot of bad rows, right, dude? There's a lot of bad barbell rows out there, man. And it's good that you can be a bodybuilding row like 500 pounds, but if you're not doing it right in CrossFit and a weightlifting and a strongman power thing, you're not gonna get the effect. So we want the effect. So let's show some common mistakes. You wanna show the first common, the bro row. We call it the bro barbell row. So here's the mistake. You'll put too much weight on here because you care more about ego than training effect. You'll probably extend your knees all the way because you don't know how to use your legs, because you don't really train your legs. And you'll just wildly sort of pull with the aim of getting the widest back you can possibly build. Of course, it never works because this is not even hardly an exercise. Keep the weight light, and remember, if it doesn't feel like your pull for your deadlift or your clean, it's not doing you any good. So take the weight off the bar and do it in the right way, man. Your bad's all right, but we need a shittier bad. Look at McGoldrick's bad. This is the row to shrug maneuver. So as it set one, or rep 1, 2, 3. Come on, bro, it's all you. Come on, build that back.
What do you think, Max?
Is that a good? He hates it. So, 3, give me another 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
2 more mistakes that you're gonna spot. One will be like wild, flared elbow position. Alex, you wanna show what that looks like, man? So your arms gotta be in good athletic neutral position. If you stick them way out to the side like a chicken wing, so show that, this is not gonna allow you to keep your upper back and your spine in great position. Just because you're pulling upwards doesn't make it a very useful exercise. I mean, you could do an exercise where you bend over and you could pull the bar high and out to your shoulders. It's just a radically different exercise. We're rowing here. We want to keep it as close to pulls as we can. Another mistake, Alex, you want to show? And this is the obvious one. I'll approach you from the rear. Relax, buddy, relax. So obviously, we need his back and to be in the same position. He's going to deadlift or clean. This is terrible. If your shoulder blades are spread out and your back is rounded and you put too much weight on here and you pull like garbage, something's going to burst the bar. You'll miss the bar out in front.
You'll get diabetes, you'll fucking die. No girlfriend will touch your wiener. You might want to do that. You don't have to put that in. I just got a little wild. So, prescription tips. These work good for high reps. You can do sets of 10, whatever, but I like to treat this like I would treat a pull or a squat or a bench. Load it progressively, load it heavy. Start with a modest weight. Every time you do it, you can do 5 sets of 5, for instance. Maybe after you deadlift the squats, find time to do it. And every time you do it, try to march the weight up 5 to 10 pounds, depends on how light you start. And to show marked improvement in this lift, we don't just do it randomly time to time. Program it, prescribe it, and march the load forward. Get strong on this lift, and all your performance markers will improve. I'm promising you that. Right. So we showed you the pin lay style row, barbell row, whatever the hell you want to call it. What we did was we took the weight off one side and moved the barbell. CTB, if you can show this right here. Rogue makes very excellent landmine, like these little pipe units you can buckle into here and then slide the barbell in. That allows you to do rotation exercise and everything else. If you don't have that and you want to do what is called like a T-bar row, which is what we got set up here, this is a barbell with a handle slid over the end. This gives you options to grab anywhere and then do the same kind of row. You can have these made, you can buy them. You can go to a local Sports Authority store and get like a pull down handle that you just pop underneath the bar that gives you options for pulling. Any of it will work. So just to anchor it, slide the barbell against something solid. In this case, we've got the rack here. We just put some bumper plates on either side of the barbell. So as Alex pulls in a controlled manner, this barbell will stay pretty reasonably anchored. It won't float around. As long as you don't load this with an excessive amount of weight, it'll be fine. So on a T-bar row, the general things remain the same. We're not just gonna pull. We're gonna keep our feet engaged. We're gonna pretend like we're doing something functional and athletic. So in this case, Alex is gonna still think mindset of like, this is building my clean or my snatch position. So the only difference is instead of pulling straight up, you're gonna pull a little bit further back in you because this bar is gonna move in an arc. That's fine. So again, he's gonna drive a little bit with the legs, but his knees are already out of the way. He's gonna pull straight up and hold. He can curl his hands under a little bit to kind of simulate that effect. Try that. So he still looks like he's setting up, he's staying over the ball, everything looks great. He can grab wide or narrow. He can grab with a hammer grip or a wider grip just to change up positions. It's all good. And again, you can do this for heavy sets of 5, you can do it for sets of 10. Just progress up week to week and load modestly, little bits at a time, and your back will get much stronger, much quicker. Just a quick important note on neck position. You want to show first, bad, neck flex down. Still bad, neck extended far too up, or far too up, too far backwards. What's good? Nice neutral neck. A very comfortable position, eyes are cast down just in front of the bar, back is allowed to be straight and powerful. Are you taping your hands before you do a heavy row session? Yeah. Yeah? That's cool. Right on, so those are all two-handed row varieties. You can do them heavy, you can get strong, righteously strong. It'll be worth it. Max, take this tape. Go tape up your thumbs for your heavy cleans. Good job, boy. But you can also do all these exercises with just one arm, which is a very good thing to do. Again, lots of strong people spend a lot of time pulling with one arm. Chinese weightlifters do a heck of a lot of that. So I want Alex to show you just a one-arm variety with just a straight barbell. So we took that handle off. Now we're gonna do the same thing, same kind of cues for the back and the hips and knees, but we might stagger our stance a little bit, keep a nice firm planted front leg. Back is still aligned, strong, and neutral. And he's just gonna grab the bar and pull it straight up. You can't do as much weight, so sometimes that's actually a good thing. But again, nice, strong pull, transferring force up the arm, but driving down through the floor with the legs to stay engaged. You wanna show a couple of those, man? Good strong base, pull right up. Yeah, let me show you how the powerlifter would do it. So actually doing a good job of keeping them nice and strict. If I was doing it, I might load up a little more weight, and again, be a little more aggressive with my leg drive off the bottom, and I would pull, reset, pull, reset, pull. If you want a little more range of motion, put a 25-pound plate on there. I mean, this is a little bit big. It's still a good exercise.
Can I have just one more tip?
One more like supremely awesome variety, single arm. It's like a heavy dumbbell, or in this case, a heavy kettlebell, and it's set up the same way. The only difference is you're gonna use one arm. So let's let Alex have a go at this. So watch, Alex is gonna row straight up and down for like 15, 20, 25 reps, the thing's going to start to happen. Weaknesses in his back will start showing. He might start getting sloppy. He might start rounding or shifting around. If he's got a weak grip, it'll start failing. Come on, man. You want to get on the swall train or not? How's that feel?
It's rough.
So here's my second point. Like we showed heavy barbell varieties, 2-hand and 1-hand. That's great. Program them and march your weights up. Do like 5 sets of 5, just like you would do a front squat or a back squat, and get stronger on the row. It'll make a big difference. But other times you do want to get swole, because doing high reps is very important. It's good for recovery. It's good for adding muscle mass to the back. If you don't have enough muscle mass in your back, like if you got a weak, undersized back, you're always going to be at a disadvantage. So fix that by doing what Alex just did a couple times a week. You saw the reaction. Like, don't you feel bigger on this side already?
Got a pump right there.
Yeah, so you do a couple sets like 10 reps. You do a couple sets like 10 or 5 to get a feel for it. Then do 2 really, really hard sets for as many reps as you can. And I think you get a lot of benefit out of it. That's pretty much all I got to say for the row. Any more tips for the row, man?
I think you covered it.
Kurt, you got any more creepy suggestions or thoughts?
Ladies, one mistake is not paying attention who you're rowing in front of.
Yo, so that's everything you need to know about the barbell row. At least plenty to get you started. For more great tips and for more titillating, amazingly entertaining episodes of Technique Wad, go to barbellshrugged.com, click the banner at the top, Technique Wad, and train, man. All the information you need is right there. Until next time, see you, friends. Pull, reset, pull.
You want to do the intro back?
Here we are at Spartan Shrugged at the general store in Pittsfield, Vermont.
Awesome.
You guys cool with that, or you want to go Shrug Spartan?
Nah, I like the Spartan Shrug. Yeah, that's legit. Hey,
right.
So we came up here to do. You're doing this event called 431 Project. I started checking it out a little bit. I noticed that we weren't going to be able to make the majority of it, so I wasn't paying too much attention to it. But we showed up late last night. We got roped into a dinner. We had to get on microphones and tell people about ourselves. And I'm like, I just got here. Could someone fill me in on what's going on? But I was able to use some context clues to find out that it was about combating childhood obesity. Could you tell us about the 431 Project?
Basically, my mom was way ahead of her time. My mom was super forward thinker, like a Fred Beachy type. Mm-hmm. Long distance runs, yoga, meditation, 30-day fasts. In Queens, in the 1970s, that was crazy. Nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
And what I saw was she fought the whole world for 20 years. Everybody was against her, including her kids, me and my sister. But she won at the end of the day. She won in the sense that now we're sitting here with 4 microphones talking about this stuff. So
right.
she was right. And she impacted my life. I impacted 20 people's lives. So I said, what about these kids that don't have a mom willing to fight the whole world, right? How would they ever learn that Oreo cookies or whatever maybe aren't that good, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you should.
Well, they're really good, but they're just not good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I mean? So I said, all right, we got to come up with a plan. There's no way I could pull this off alone. It's too big of a mission, right? How do we get kids fit? So can I invite a bunch of fire in their belly kind of people that just get shit done? People like you guys. Anybody that just can get behind something and make it happen. Could we get 300 people to show up, 200 people? You know, I have no 10 people. I don't know what's going to happen. So we named it the 431 Project because in 431 BC, Empiricles came up with earth, air, water, fire, 4 elements. Today's 4 elements for most of us are couch, donut, car, phone, whatever, right? We don't interact with the
right.
correct 4 elements.
Mm-hmm.
Can we bring people back to that? And we invited a bunch of people. We didn't know what was going to happen. You guys showed up. About 150 people there. They were from nutritionists to boomerang experts.
It was a wide array.
It was a wide array of people, but everybody seemed to like it. And and so the goal is can we get into the schools and make some kind of fun gamification for kids where like eating an apple gets you more points than eating Frito-Lay's potato chips.
Yeah.
Where running a certain amount of distance each day gets tracked, and then your school's competing with other schools, and we just gamify it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll work or not, but if I get some help, I think we can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of going back to some of the, you're talking about working with schools and going back to some of the government stuff is like one of our business partners, like he has to get a doctor's note so that the teachers will give his kid water at a meal versus like milk.
Fat
Doctor's note.
You just made a squinty face, and that was appropriate. Yeah, so like this is a really great example of where
The government's confused.
Well
It's the first
intentioned,
time.
but in a terrible way.
Yeah, so I think the intentions are right, but the system is so full of BS, and that you working inside the schools might be kind of tough. Like you might have to, in my opinion, is like I wasn't here for all the discussions over the weekend. It's like most systems, like you look at medical, some of the stuff that's happening in hospitals and stuff too is like sometimes it's just not worth trying to change something because it's so far on one side of the spectrum. Let's just circumvent it and do something else.
Right.
And so that's my
You think
opinion.
we might have more luck? Well, my other idea.
I like
there's a lot
I like
of
to approach things from like an entrepreneurial perspective versus let's get in the government and try to make change. I mean, they tried to do that in the 60s, and
it's tough.
we now have like a Democrat dropping bombs on people
Yeah,
on the
right.
other side of the world. So
Well, another idea. I mean, there's lots of ideas that came out of the weekend, but another one is, can we just get kids signed up for races? Any kind of race. Could be a 5K, could be a Spartan race, could be anything.
yeah,
And because what I found, I don't know if you guys agree with this, it could be a weightlifting event.
yeah.
But you get a kid signed up for an event, you get a human being signed up for an
I was gonna
event.
say, kids.
Yeah, you get
I need the same thing.
right?
Yeah,
Me too. All of a sudden, you're training now,
yeah.
right? Because you
Yeah.
got competition coming.
Yeah, you just need a reason.
You need a reason.
Purpose.
So who knows where it leads? But we're going to meet once a year, and my goal would be to meet once a year on every continent with a bunch of movers and shakers, and just keep.
You just gotta put on a different weekend than the Princeton thing, and I'll be here for the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I would. You're like alumni, so they would, they want you back in Einstein's room. I get it.
we left that dinner going, what can we do to help, man?
That
we were fired
dinner
up.
was inspiring.
Oh,
Like,
good.
I was like, well, I'll eat dinner, I'll hang out, I'll hear what people have to say. And by the end of it, I was like, even though I didn't get the bulk of it, I mean, we basically showed up like the last 2 hours of the event is what happened, and I was like, we've got to help, Like,
You were into it.
I already got the wheels turning,
Yeah.
All right, so now simultaneous to the 431 project going on, while you guys were fucking around in Princeton, there was a lot of shit going on here.
Mm-hmm.
We had the World Championship Spartan race, which was the half marathon.
Mm-hmm.
We had a death race going on. We had 2 weddings going on. We don't have to talk about the weddings. And we had we tested an Olympic course because we want to get this thing in the Olympics. So my team had turned to me at some point. Yeah, my team turned to me at some point and said, "Why would we have like 7 events on the same weekend in the same
A
place?"
town of 400 people.
Well, because of you, actually, is the reason. And I'll tell you how this ties into you.
Because of us.
Yeah, because
Oh,
of you.
geez.
Because you gave us this idea for the podcast. So I've been running around interviewing people, and I interviewed this special forces guy. And I said, how do you grow? How do you get better? And he said, here's what we do. He said, we take our guys and we push the limits. And as soon as we get complacent, we push the next limit.
Yeah.
And so this was just pushing the limits this week. And what could we do? All right, we're doing 2 weddings. Let's add something else. All right, we're doing championships. Let's add 431. And let's just see if it breaks. Let's just keep pushing until something breaks. Right? But nothing broke. So now we can go to 9 events. Right?
wow.
We almost had a break. So here's a great story no one knows about. So it's Saturday afternoon. You guys are messing around in Princeton. I'm looking for you up here. And we're filming with NBC at the World Championships, and our attorney gives me a call.
Oh, that's never good.
Not good. He's on the mountain. He's at Killington where this is going on, and he says, we got a problem. I said, what's the problem? He says, got a guy underwater 10 minutes. He goes, I'm shutting down the obstacles. We got a problem. So I'm thinking, how far away am I? I'm processing this very fast, faster than I'm speaking to you. I start running. I'm stripping off my stuff, going as fast as I can. I'm thinking, all right, I got to get 50 volunteers with me quick. We've got divers. We got 10 divers there looking, but it's a big pond. And so if I got 50 guys and we all dive in, we'll find this body and maybe we'll save this guy or girl, whatever we got. I get there. I round up 50 people. By the time I make it the 100 yards from where I got the 50, there's one guy left behind me. They all dropped off, right? They don't want to really go in the water. I strip down to my underwear. I dive in. It is so cold, this water. So cold that I think this guy's dead. Like there's no way somebody's under this water, this cold for 10 minutes, right? Swim out to the little dock. I run into the divers. I'm asking them where we stand. They're looking. They've broken it into quadrants. They're looking for the body. It's looking pretty bleak. Right now I'm starting to get cold. I'm in my underwear. They're all in wetsuits. And turns out there was nobody underwater. Nobody was there. Here's what happened. And the same thing happened last year. There was a 3-person team. Now we got 10,000 people going through this race. There's a 3-person team. They all went in the water. One guy comes out, turns to our staff, and says, "Hey, my buddy, I didn't see him. I think he might be still under. I'm going to continue," he says. But right, so he takes off.
What a teammate!
Fuck that guy. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're digging around. Now it was good because it gave us some practice. Right. It's good to do a fire drill every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it screws things up. I mean, you stop the whole race. Last year, what happened? It's midday, same race.
How'd you guys figure out that he wasn't in there anymore?
We have a tracking device on everybody. And it just took time for him to get to the next location for him to come up.
They hit different stops.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we were waiting for that to happen, but at the same time, we're not gonna
stop looking.
We got to look for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we got a call from a frantic mother. It's midday, 10,000 people on the mountain. Oh my God, my daughter called me. She's lost and her phone died. All right, state police show up, SWAT teams, helicopters, the whole fucking thing, right? We got to shut down the race. I said, listen, turn the music way up because if she's in these mountains, I want her to hear the music. We go on a whole search and rescue thing. We find her in a bar.
Oh, my God.
Like, that race was too hard.
She called her mother. She said, I got lost, and she decided to bail, went to a bar, and was sitting at a bar drinking.
Oh, shit.
It's that guy who decided to
Is she banned from
not
all
Spartan up.
Spartan races
It's just
again?
like a nightmare, and they don't realize what they do to, all right, because now you're putting everybody else in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I was really hoping the other guy, you guys be watching, maybe you're crying like, we lost a guy the first time in a Spartan race. This guy's dead. What are we going to tell his family? Oh, God, what are we going to do? And he comes up behind eating a sandwich. Hey, what are you guys looking for?
But let me tell you, I mean, all that stuff was running through my head.
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
like you're processing, right? All that stuff real time, fast.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was the World Championship. The death race took place, and we ran an experiment this weekend. It was a great experiment. We wanted to see my guy Johnny Waite ran the race. He did a great job. We wanted to see if you gave people a memorization task that was a positive thing to memorize. Let's think of a great quote. Let's say that's just a positive quote about how you got to live your life and do all these things. It's three.
Pimping ain't easy, Joe.
Pimping it easy.
Pimping
ain't easy.
Pimping it ain't easy.
There you go.
It's a famous quote about being positive.
let me hear it.
That's it.
That was it.
Pimping ain't easy.
All right, that's a famous quote about being positive. I got it. It took me a second because it's Princeton.
That's where we learned it.
That's Princeton.
It's written on the wall in the Einstein room.
I was thinking more.
Einstein said it.
I was thinking
As well,
Harvard.
pimping
I was thinking
is not
Harvard.
easy.
You're going Princeton. I got it. So anyway, we gave great quotes and then terrible tasks. So like, let's say a 4-person team has 2 2x6s that are 12 foot long. And those 4 people have to strap those 2 2x6s to their feet, and they've got to walk.
Oh, geez.
They've got to walk in unison, through the woods for 12 miles, right?
Oh, God.
While they're memorizing this positive quote, right?
Wow.
So we're talking about 10 hours, right? Just boom, 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 walking through the woods, losing their minds, versus another group that has a negative quote going through the mountains. Sure enough, positive quotes win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And they don't even know. They don't even know that's happening.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, you're not
Right?
telling them like, oh, these guys are going to get
Yeah.
it.
The power of words is a trip.
Incre-
Uttering something to yourself that's positive can carry you through anything.
Wait, you had a single group with each one, or there was multiple positive groups
there were
and multiple negative groups?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, Joe,
what
now
was the
you're a
breakdown?
scientist as well.
We're a scientist.
Yeah, the positive group finished faster.
Positive
you
group.
just didn't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the death race that took place.
That's a cool experiment.
That's cool,
you could
John.
no, John. Not you could probably have somebody come in here control it, maybe do it again, repeat it, and carefully lay out a careful method, and have maybe invite somebody up who can make it into like a little proper study. You could write those results up and publicize.
Well,
and have Spartan
it's-
race be in the methods, and all
It's
that.
funny you should discuss that because there is a study I want to talk to you guys about. Have you, other than your current partnership with you guys, have you had partners? Any of you had partners before? You have girlfriends, obviously. I heard him mention your girlfriend. Any other partners? Or
Don't tell my wife.
business
Partners.
partners?
Yeah.
I've never had another partner.
Yeah, we've had other business partners.
You've had other business partners. So I don't know if they've been positive experiences, negative experiences. But many people that have multiple businesses have had some negative experiences with partners, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to understand why that happens. And you guys know the cookie test and the marshmallow test.
Yes,
we talked
delayed
about
gratification.
Delayed gratification. We talked about it. He's still alive, by the way, and I'm going to get to him. but he's in his 80s. I think he failed when he put on the study. Here's what he did. Everybody here got a cookie or marshmallow, choose to eat it or wait and get 2, right?
Yeah.
He decides to eat his because he's always hungry. You've been eating less. You decide to not eat yours is sitting there, right? Actually, we all don't eat ours, but you eat yours. Now I think he should come back into the cubicle and he should watch us eat ours because I want to see what happens to him, right? He's out of cookies. He's hungry again because he gets hungry every hour. And does he start to get pissed off at us? Does he start to think, what the fuck? You know, they should give me some of theirs. And we're
you think that happens?
I think it's
You think that
it's human
happens
nature.
in
I think
society?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Look, I made a mistake, but now I'm
Because-
hungry. You're gonna help me out or what?
yeah, I think we're saying to
I
ourselves.
think that does happen.
I said, what do
Yeah.
you guys? We're saying to you, like we were sweating for the last 3 hours. We didn't eat our cookie.
The
like,
same type of person who's going to eat that cookie first is probably going to.
is probably the guy,
Who ate your cookies in business,
I'm
Joe?
with you on the theory. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's a study I want to do. I want to get a bunch of kids, and I want to see, does the guy that ate his tackle the other guy? I think that'd be a
I
great
think that's
study,
worth looking into.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's that same guy. I
That's
think
a great.
you
That's a
nailed
great
it.
experiment.
Yeah. And I think if you look back at business partnerships that might not have worked, that's probably what's going on, right?
Yeah.
That's
I've never
probably
really had any like negative
experiences.
so,
Yeah.
So in your example, there's 2 groups. One decides to take the easy road and get the single cookie, and then the other kid that had to delay gratification got 2 cookies in the end. And you're curious to see if the first kid gets pissed that the other kid got twice as much as he did,
you gotta
even
sit
though he
him
had the same opportunity.
Yeah, you got to sit them next to each other, and he's got to
Yeah.
watch the other guy eat those 2 cookies.
Yeah.
And he might not think
I wanna-
it's fair that he got 2,
Yeah, I wanna
even
see-
though
I
he
wanna
had
see
the
the-
opportunity but passed on it.
He might say, "Hey, man, you owe me some of that." Like,
Yeah.
you
Right.
I helped because I was here. You got those.
I
2
was.
cookies,
Yeah, that's
asshole.
right. If I wasn't here, you wouldn't have got those 2. I'm the one that told you to come to this test.
Right.
Oh,
right.
shit.
They'll start-
I found the
yeah.
article in the magazine last week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that was my.
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
that was the experiment I want to.
But no, I can tell you right there. If I was the editor at let's say a human performance journal where endurance stuff was being published, or there had been a precedent for endurance tests and like psychological interventions, questionnaires to test how decision making would change or how the outcome would be altered by certain things. So you get somebody in here to make sure you set up in a way that somebody would accept it. But you could publish these results in a scientific journal that would get pretty like you could share the outcomes of this to help other people understand these things.
The
much better.
Pittsfield Research Center for psychological studies.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be like, everybody here is crazy.
That's
I thought you were going to
right.
say for psychos.
That's right. I'm trying to think.
racers.
Let's dive into.
We need to have a psychologist move out here.
We need a
Just
psychologist.
study you, and then you guys can run some experiments side by side.
Here's the problem, and this is going to sound terrible to anybody from here that watches this. I think there's a negative correlation. I think the psychologist you convinced to move here already has a problem. You know what I mean?
I think anyone who gets a psychology degree already has a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Based on the girls you've dated in the past.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
I did date a couple of psychology majors.
let's dive into Queens, where I grew up, because I think it ties into the cookie test.
Okay.
Right. So you had all these guys that were wise guys, and they were ruling. They're really ruling with fear. I guess a little bit of greed because guys are making money, but it's mostly fear. Like you, right?
You're talking about actual gangsters right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Actual wise guys.
Real
wise
wise
guys.
guys.
Yeah, real guys.
Not guys who have
real
a depth
guys.
of knowledge.
Guys
and-
you wouldn't call a wise guy or else they'd kill you probably.
Right. So real guys. So my question is like, what's the difference between the guy that rats or doesn't, right? And why did they start to rat more and more prevalently as the years went by? Is it because they all started speaking English as opposed to Italian? Is it right? Do you see less rat in the Chinese mob because they're still very tight and speaking just their language?
I don't know.
Right?
Because
that's taking the
they all
cookie.
have similar backgrounds, right? So, like, when I was in the Navy, I saw some instances where there was a guy who would rat out the team or something like that, right? And, but it was usually because he was already kind of like an outlier in other ways. Like, he wasn't quite like, there was something different about him already. Because people come come there with different backgrounds.
But he made a deal. He came into the Navy.
But the wise guys, like these guys, probably they grew up in the same neighborhood and stuff like that. So,
But they do take advantage of the benefits of being associated with these guys, and then when the times get tough, then they take the first path out. That's what happens.
That's what makes it unacceptable.
Yeah.
Right? You bought in. Same thing with the Navy, though.
You
Same thing with
agreed
the
to the
Navy.
terms.
yeah, that's probably the same guy who's gonna.
Like you knew what you were getting into.
Who's
You knew
gonna
this
ditch.
is not like on the up and up.
Yeah.
You knew there's no way out. But when you were threatened, instead of just biting the bullet and said, "Look, I committed to this. I'm going to see it through. Hey, if I got to go to jail, if I got to get whacked, whatever."
No matter what the
That was still the same guy that you wouldn't want on your, you wouldn't want him with you.
So how do you find out who that guy is? It's the same question. It's the same question.
Oh, you got to put him under like extreme conditions
and test him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's enough.
And then you got to kill him if he betrays you, Joe. You got to throw him in that lake.
No, I don't know if that's enough. I'm really asking you guys this question because
I think you should ask Mark Devine where SEAL Fit at.
I was with Mark recently. He held my head underwater in ice cold water for about 10 minutes.
Did he try to?
Because of you three.
Actually,
I went there for a podcast. 7 Navy SEALs jumped out, held me underwater.
Really?
Made me breathe through a hose. I was crazy. I was like, I'm only here for a podcast, man.
Oh, he invited you out. That was totally staged. They just wanted to get you.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So my question though is, you can't just throw a guy up Everest and say, all right, because he climbed Everest, he handled extreme conditions, that makes him.
Well, I think you have to do it with the group of people he's expected to not rat out.
All right, so you take them all up Everest,
right?
And they handle Everest. They're that tough. I don't know if that's necessarily the only thing that's correlated.
I'll give you a little example of what I've seen. Is like there's a competition involved.
Yeah.
One team wins, one team loses. If you lose, there's a punishment involved. And then if the team cheats, you intentionally have a team cheat. And then if that guy goes, I've seen this, like, that team cheated over there, and then that's your rat. You got to have like a level of competition, and everyone's not being treated equally. You have to put them in a scenario where they feel like what happened to them was unfair.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
So we held a death race one year, and I wanted to test it.
Okay.
And I'm just making up numbers. Let's say we had 300 people here, and they were all broken into teams of 4, hypothetically. Let's say 400 people broken into teams of 4, 100 teams.
Yeah.
Just for ease of math here. They all went up on that mountain, and we staged cheating.
Yep.
We staged it in front of them. They didn't know that we were staging it.
Right.
99.9% of the teams then cheated because they saw somebody else cheat.
Right.
And 99.9% of people then ratted everybody out. It was complete failure across every kind of human being that was at this race.
You did that.
I did it.
Was
Really?
it because what part of the race did this occur? Was it a point when they were getting a little dark?
They throughout that entire mountain there were stakes in the ground.
It sounds like it became acceptable to rat.
It became acceptable to cheat and
You
to
are
rat.
keen on the details.
Yeah, it came to cheat.
I'm just trying to
There's a
analyze kinda
psychologist
what's
that wrote a
happening
book
here.
on this whole thing. You read The Honest Truth About Dishonesty?
No.
It's all studies just like this about who will lie and when they think it's okay and how much they'll cheat on their tests in college, and the whole book's about this whole thing.
Yeah, I got to get it. The what is it?
Dan Ariely wrote it. It's called The Honest Truth About Dishonesty.
I got to get it. I got to read that book because it's intriguing to me what makes people do that, where they go off the rails.
The whole book basically says people are more than happy to lie as long as they think it's okay, and other people would lie in the same situation.
And then they actually convince themselves it's the truth.
Yeah, they as long as it's socially acceptable, then they'll think there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
As long as they think it's socially acceptable. They see other people doing it, they get any amount of social proof, they'll convince themselves that it's not a bad thing, they're not a bad person. That's a big thing too. As long as they can convince themselves that they're not a bad person, they can rationalize it, then they'll lie.
So then why do I have some friends, again, outliers from Queens I grew up with, that went to jail for 10 years, never ratted, never...
It wasn't socially acceptable for some reason in their minds, I guess.
Right, because you got to be, now that guy might not even climb Everest, right? You wouldn't say, oh, he's a tough guy because he could handle it. No, he just did the right thing.
I wouldn't rat you out, Joe.
That's
But
good.
at the same time, don't put me to the test because I don't know what will happen if I get on the mountain. Like that. Mike did it. Mike did it, Joe. I'm your buddy. Mike did it.
The guy doing time might be the outlier, and the study needs to be done more on their side of things. I don't know.
Yeah.
What causes somebody not to lie?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
We need another book called The Truth About Truth.
Truth about truth.
Somebody go write that.
What was the story? Dog story?
The dog story. Oh, the dog.
Gets
yeah,
a dog too.
Why were we talking about dogs before?
Oh, we were talking about you were a dog person. I was saying I was a dog person, but you're especially good with dogs, and I was saying that I like dogs, but I don't think I'm especially good with them since they tend to bite me.
So my wife was like you in that she was afraid of dogs, but I said if we're gonna get
that's what I said.
if we're gonna get married, I said you can't have a wife afraid of dogs, right? So I went out and I got on the American Kennel Club, and I looked up. They list every kind of dog, and I saw.
I love how you solve problems.
Yeah, I was like, it said gladiator dog, so I was like, of course I gotta get a gladiator dog. It said American Staffordshire Terrier, right?
Oh,
so,
nice.
So I call up the lady, and she's like, yeah, we got one left. It's blue, and I'm thinking, wow, I never saw a blue dog before, but I guess that's a term for a coat. It's not actually blue.
It's kind of like a grayish.
Yeah, it's like a brindle or whatever. So she sells me the dog, and it's really a pit bull, but I don't know this.
It's a type of pit, yeah.
Type of pit, more like a show pit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we get the dog, beautiful, great dog, name her Lucy, and my buddy brings up a pit from the Bronx to our wedding. So now we have the dog for about a year, and unbeknownst to my wife, while we're getting married, the actual ceremony, my buddy puts his male pit from the Bronx in with our female Lucy, and gets
They're
her
consummating.
Yeah, gets her pregnant at our wedding.
Is that how you doing? You look nice over there. Well, this is my first time here. Oh, yeah.
So we end up with we go on our honeymoon. We come back and we got a dog that's fully pregnant. Looks like she has a bowling ball in her stomach, right? So my wife and I deliver 8 pit bulls in our house. We had 8 pit bulls living with us.
Oh, nice.
So we got to know dogs really well. I watched them grow up. They all had different personalities. I got one left, and gave most of them away. But very interesting to watch even from a psychology perspective and a growth perspective, how they're completely unhappy when they're sitting in the house, completely happy when they go outside. Diet changes, you could really study the animal inside all of us with dogs. And I don't know why we went off on that tangent, but I love dogs.
The guy in the back said dogs.
Dog story. What were the
There's
other
another
stories?
story. Deserted Island story.
I think I told you guys this story. So my first race.
I feel like I didn't hear it.
I don't remember it.
I bought this URL. You guys will appreciate this. Peak.com, PEAK.com, back in 2000.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking I want to create an adventure business, like races and stuff. And so I got in touch with Ian Adamson, who was at the party last night. You should talk. You have to talk to Ian.
I didn't meet him.
Yeah. He's heading up the International Obstacle Racing Federation, where we're trying to get this thing in the Olympics. He holds Guinness Book of Records across many sports disciplines. Amazing athlete. Anyway, I call him up and I'm like, hey, I want to put this race on in the British Virgin Islands, the biggest adventure race ever. I want to include sailboats and climbing and rope, coastal leer, all kinds of shit, right? He says, I got you covered. So we set the whole thing up. Race is going to start, let's say, on Friday. Ian and his team are setting ropes out of the ocean. The waves are crashing. There's a hurricane going on, and they're going to climb up, 300-400 feet out of the water. They're gonna Jumar up the ropes. You got those little hand holes that climb. They go up the rope. They don't come down.
Ascender.
Right. Yeah. And so one of the rope setters, if that's what you call a guy setting the ropes, slips and cuts his leg. So the team says, get into a dinghy and go get yourself stitched up, right? Unbeknownst to anybody, the guy can't get the motor started, and there's this hurricane going on, and the boat starts to drift, right? Fast forward a day or two, the race is happening now. It's like an 8-day race, right? I'm down there. We're trying to make everything happen. September 11th just happened. And Ian is on the media boat. We got a boat just for media that's following the race. And there's a dinghy going by. I'm not on the media boat at the time, and the guy on the dinghy's like waving, like, hey, I need help. And everybody in the media boat's waving back, hey, how you doing? He drifts. Well, fast forward 8 days. Race is over. We're having the party.
Oh, my God.
Ian comes up to me and says, fuck, we haven't seen Johnny, I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, and he explains the whole thing to me. And I said, fuck, we got to get the Coast Guard involved. So we call the Coast Guard. And,
you spend a lot of money, government money.
Oh, you don't even know how much money I lost on this whole race. Anyway, rolls out the fucking maps. Coast Guard triangulate the thing, and they're like, all right, if you last saw him here, and you first saw him here, and then the storms rolled in, there's a chance he's 150 miles away on this little deserted island called Little Tobago. So we're like, all right, whatever it costs, do it, right? So they chop her over. They find him on the island. He drifted 150 miles full of toboggan. He's eating crabs. He's drinking rainwater.
Living like a king over there.
That's right.
How would they know he got this small island? Jesus, that's
what are the chances he would actually end up there?
They triangulated it, and I'm thinking
they used math.
I'm thinking we're dead. We're dead, right? He's gonna come back. He's gonna blame us, whatever. Lands off the chopper, a little skinnier than he was when he left. He's like, hey, man, can we go grab dinner? I am fucking starving. That was it. He was absolutely awesome.
He got presented with a situation. It's made the fucking most of it. This is what I'm
we
doing.
Have to get our positivity quote from him.
I got crabs. I got water. I kick it here. They're going to find
I've
me.
never spent 8 days by myself.
Can you imagine that?
I don't think I've ever spent like an entire 24-hour period by myself.
But, yeah, I mean, can you imagine?
I would love to. I mean, that's a nice little experiment I think everybody should try to do.
Little Tobago's the place.
Let's put you on the boat.
That's
See
the
what
island.
I don't know if I need to go in the middle of nowhere.
You got to go to your own island. Hey, we're having we're doing a cruise. We're doing a Spartan cruise.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're doing it in March. It just popped in my head because you said you need to do something like this. We should put the Spartan Shrugged on the cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We should do
what's
it.
the dates?
I'll get you the dates. We should definitely do it. He's the cameraman shaking his head.
Shit,
Yes.
I'm already committing to dates. So we need to get this down.
Yeah, let's get it.
What's going to go on the boat? What do you got planned?
There's I think 1,000 people only were taken.
I think this is going to be a lot different than cruises I've been on in the past.
Yeah, like the cruise normally goes to shore, right? And you unload and you go shopping and stuff. This one won't. This will stop. Everybody jumps off, swims to an island, and then we'll.
It sounds awesome already.
And then we'll do it.
I want to go.
We'll do a Spartan race on
That
the island.
sounds way better than a stupid cruise where you show up and the whole town shows up to sell you bullshit.
No, what we should do together is you guys should find some speakers that have been awesome. I should find some speakers that have been awesome. We'll have them on the cruise.
That'll be easy.
We'll pick a time. The siren will go off. Everybody's got to dive overboard, swim to shore. We throw a race on the island, maybe some weightlifting competition or something you guys could organize.
You have our attention, sir. Let's do this shit.
We should do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
I wasn't even thinking of it until you said you needed to stay alone. Obviously, you would go to a different island by yourself for 3-4 days.
Well, I'll do that when the whole that whole thing's done. Yeah.
Yeah. No, email me on that. We'll get this cruise going. That'll be good.
If you want us to do that, you should tweet at us.
I think everybody's going to tweet.
If you're listening.
Yeah.
Tweet. We could even give a few.
That's how we measure interest.
We can give a few away if people want to. If people.
Oh yeah. Should we hold a contest?
We should hold a contest.
And a few select fans will bring them along for the dream ride of the century.
Yeah, we should hold a contest that they have to figure out a problem. They have a really difficult question that you have the answer to combined with something I have the answer to.
Ooh.
Like how many stone steps exist on our stone staircase in the back, right? They've got to answer that. And then you guys come up with something like what was in the classroom.
What episode of Barbell Shrugged had a cat in it?
What episode of Barbell Shrugged had a cat in it?
You got to have that plus you got to add that number to the number of stairs that exist on the back, and you got to send that in.
Oh, man. That'd be great.
Add the episode number to the number of stairs?
Yeah, and send that number in.
Sounds good to me.
You gotta you gotta be a fan, man.
Yeah, and we should cap how many we give away total. How many should we give away total?
This is the first 3 people that post that on Twitter.
Should we do a budget for this and then see how many we give
fine.
away?
We'll give away 3.
You do
3
business
cruises.
like the opposite of me.
That's not true.
3 well, you went to Princeton. 3 cruises.
I love how you keep on bringing up the Princeton thing. That way I don't have to
3 cruises. They're pretty good wrestlers in Princeton.
That's what I hear.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't encounter any. No one tried to take me down. So.
You I'm
didn't
going
get
to
the
Cornell, by the way, to speak to the head of wrestling over there. And
oh yeah.
I don't know if you have any interest. We'll coordinate that as well.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds fun
I
actually.
mean, you've been to Princeton. Cornell will be nothing for you.
Don't tell those guys that.
Yeah, don't tell anything.
Should we use a hashtag Spartan Cruise? No one probably used that yet. That way we can track all the comments on this.
I might have one already.
Oh yeah.
So do we need to say that right now, or could we weave it in?
Well, you know what?
Spartan
What
Shrug
we'll do is we'll go to we may do Spartan Shrug Cruise.
That's fine.
But we'll also just to be sure, go to the Barbell Shrug website and click on the blog post, and we'll put it in the show notes. So Chris always puts together like show notes, and you'll be able to like copy and paste that in. That way you're not accidentally misspelling anything.
Do we want to tell people where the stairs are, so if they want to come here and count them?
Sure.
Yeah, it's in your backyard.
It's in our backyard at Riverside Farm in Pittsfield. Now, the bad news is you guys are leaving what time tomorrow?
8?
Early 8.
Like 8, yeah.
I would suggest, just for your listeners, that you guys get up around 5, hike the stairs, count the numbers.
It's already in the plans.
Oh,
All right, cool.
Yeah, we're already doing it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I ran it this morning, but I mean, let's do it again.
By the way, the fastest time up those stairs, what do you think it is?
14:50.
I'm going to tell you this.
13 minutes.
I was in a meditative state, so I lost all track of what time means. So I have nothing to base it off of.
Slacker.
Well, little Jack, told me he did it in 18. How old's Jack?
Jack's gonna be 9 at the end of this month.
So the 9-year-old, in case he was lying to me,
No, he wasn't.
said he did it in 18 minutes. So I figured it'd be well faster than that. So 13, 14,
I'll go 13.
11.
11.
Wow.
11 minutes.
That's booking.
11 minutes. I don't even know how to do it.
Doing that whole thing in 11 minutes. That's a
My
full-on
fastest
sprint.
is 14. So when you guys go in the morning, try it.
Well, I went about as fast as I could this morning.
Yeah.
There was no way it was near that. It was 15 plus for sure.
11. You ever done the grind in Vancouver, Canada?
Have not.
It's fucking straight up. It's like maybe 3 or 4 times that long and twice as steep. I think the world record time's like 45 minutes, something like that. It's just like stairs straight up forever, and then
That's
you
a
take a
grind.
gondola down.
That's a grind.
Dude, it's a fucking grind.
I would do it backwards. Gondola up,
Stairs
skateboard down.
Skateboard down.
Nice.
How about you?
Nice.
I think you said step down. It'd be worse, wouldn't it? I would not want to step down on those steps.
No, once you get up there, you want the gondola.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We ready to wrap this joker up?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Where should they go to learn more about Spartan races and
SpartanRace.com or Spartan.com. We got Spartan.com.
Oh, you got that figured out.
Wow.
Thanks to Mike. That's a good brand, right? Spartan. I was thinking.
Hell yeah.
I know we got to wrap this up, but
By the way, I scored one of those hoodies last night.
oh, did you get it?
Oh,
Isn't that great?
legit. It's my favorite hoodie now.
Talk about the hoodie because that's our big push. We want to have
Oh, man.
the most bulletproof hoodie on earth. Do you think it qualifies?
Yes.
Dude, it's like a thick Carhartt hoodie.
It's
Dude,
nice.
That's what it
it's-
feels like. It's fucking dense and heavy.
My favorite, the thing I noticed about it, like aesthetically first, was instead of having the drawstrings, it has the buttons.
Nice.
And I just think that looks a lot cooler.
There it is.
That's it right there.
Can you
And the brand is so simple. It's like you've got the whole. Everyone knows what Spartan is. That should know what it is by now.
The helmet.
And you've got the helmet on there, and it's just really simple. I dig it big time. I'll be wearing that quite a bit. My only complaint is if it gets too wet, it just becomes a wet blanket.
You should probably not use it for like sailing.
Right.
Would
Don't
not
use
be
it for
because
sailing.
it's cotton.
But if you plan on staying dry,
Yeah.
It feels like
it's gonna
it'll
keep
stop
you
a
warm.
bullet.
I was thinking.
it's so heavy.
I was
It's
actually
nice.
thinking of putting a little pocket and putting like a plastic poncho so that if you did run into a situation where
There you go.
right where you were.
There's actually a really cool pocket. So if you put your hands in the middle, there's like a little pocket for your key,
yeah.
like right in the middle of that middle pocket.
iPhone or
That's
whatever.
legit. Yeah.
Set up a hashtag for that too, and we'll give away some hoodies if you want on Barbell
That'd be
Shrugged.
fantastic.
Spartan
Yeah.
hoodie.
Yeah, whatever you guys want. Yeah, come up with some.
Hashtag Spartan hoodie.
Yeah.
Check the show notes.
Check the show notes
Check the show
just to be
notes.
sure.
Yeah.
It's the only way to know for sure and not totally screw that up. Hoodie is legit. I'm gonna wear it
And then
every time it gets cold.
Forever.
So the hoodie, the Spartan.com. We already did the book.
What about your podcast?
The 431
Oh,
Check
project.
out Spartan Up the podcast.
Well, you
leave a
can't you can't see it yet because we don't know anything about podcasts other
Oh,
than
you've been
what-
recording but not posting.
yeah, we haven't posted anything because we don't know how to do it. So we're working on that.
Let's get that shit figured out,
Okay.
Joe.
We'll help you out.
yeah, we
And then
We'll
check out.
eventually put that in the show notes too. Once you do have it up,
Yeah.
you can go back to the show notes, even if it's months later after this, and we'll post where,
Check out all
where
that
it's at.
Go
episodes.
to-
Leave a 5-star comment. The whole shebang.
the431project.com.
or .org. I think it's .org.
I think you got .com too.
If I got .com, that's fine. Yeah.
When in doubt, search Google D431.
Joe's like, how would I know?
Yeah, numeral 431.
Yes.
431. And that's all
And
good.
then
And
how
then
can
what
people-
do you guys want to push? Because someday when we figure out how to post this podcast on our site, you will. What do you got? What do you want to
Peace,
post?
peace and love, man. Peace and love is all we're
Just
pushing.
go to barbellshrug.com and sign up for the newsletter.
That's all
Cool.
we do.
We give out free advice on training and nutrition and all that stuff all the time. We podcast other guys that are a lot like you, and so if people like you, they probably like some of the other people we bring on too. And we shared a lot of guests, so
Yeah.
We post a show like this every single Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we never miss for years now. So if you want to watch more shows like this, Except for maybe tomorrow, depending on if the Wi-Fi in Pittsfield works.
You'll get at the top of the mountain. I've got a crank radio antenna thing that you crank it.
Yeah, I could just you got to crank for 4 hours while that episode uploads.
It's like
It's the next death race.
Like an old school
Upload
guerrilla
this video.
broadcast.
If you stop, the upload stops, and you guys start.
It's like
from the
guerrilla.
beginning.
It's like guerrilla radio style up
That's
there.
right.
man.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad,
Awesome.
I'm glad you guys came.
yeah. Thanks for having us. Love hanging out up here. We'll definitely be back.
See you guys.
Cheers,
Thanks.
everyone.
Yep. Is that good?
Yes.
People are gonna love that one.
Because all I kept.
To learn more about how you can support the show, go to barbellshrug.com and sign up for the newsletter.